Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you guys can kindly do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I hope you're all doing lovely. It is Friday, of course, guys. Lovely Friday, of course. We love the Fridays, don't we, guys? Absolutely. Now, lots of news coming out of Man United. Lots of disappointments, lots of excitement. It's a mixed bag of emotions when you're supporting this football club at the end of the day, and not least in the transfer market. Every single season we've got this, up and down, excitement, disappointment, etc. Every single day, it's different every single day. You can't predict it week by week by week. Now, look, I'm going to get into some transfer news in regards to Man United. A double transfer blow for Man United potentially in the midfield position, and also Manchester United have been talking about. Ineos have been talking about. Fixing that midfield of Manchester United. And will it be soon or will it be later, guys? I'm going to let you know, guys, very, very soon. But thank you, guys, for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe again. And please don't forget to smash a like on the way in, guys. Really important with the algorithms and all that, guys. Now, let's get straight into it, guys. I'm going to talk about a couple of players that Man United have been linked to over the last few months that will not be coming to Manchester United. One of which is Hayden Hackney. The Middlesbrough youngster looks likely to join Tottenham Hotspur with a very, very soon. It's looking very likely. Hayden Hackney is not out of the woods in regards to going to Manchester United, but it is deemed that he wants to wait for Tottenham Hotspur. He wants to wait for Tottenham Hotspur. He wants to wait for them to make a bid, which they are likely to do imminently. And it looks like Hayden Hackney will not be coming to Manchester United. He will be going to Tottenham Hotspur. Another one bites the dust, as they say, another player that won't be coming to this football club. Of course, guys, some people really admire this player. Some people said we should get Hayden Hackney. Hayden Hackney's the way forward, and it would have represented a cheaper option for Man United in that midfield and would have added numbers. I've always been on the theory that, with the championship players, will they transfer their abilities to the Premier League? As you know, when Premier League teams move up when the championship teams move up to the Premier League, that they don't always shine, isn't it? And the quality can be deceiving in the Champions League, in my opinion. But he is a quality player. He has huge potential, and it looks like he will be going to Tottenham Hotspur. Another player that has signed for Tottenham Hotspur on loan is Paulinho. Now, Paulinho obviously is a Portuguese international. We've been speaking about a lot on this channel about a possible loan deal for Manchester United. Now, I don't know why, but Man United have not gone in for this deal hardcore. They haven't gone in for it. And Tottenham Hotspur have grabbed Paulinho, not quite literally, but they have got him in regards to a loan deal with a 30 million option to buy. Now, look, guys, I would have liked to do this deal. I'll be honest with you, because I thought it would have added the well-needed experience into our midfield. I thought that would have been a good, shrewd, smart move for Manchester United to make. But it looks like Tottenham Hotspur made a quick-fire double deal here. And, they need to. They're in the Champions League. They've done no business whatsoever. I mean, it's underrated how bad they've been at the end of the day. But what I would say is that, Paulinho, Tottenham Hotspur, no longer going to be a Manchester United target. And look, you know what? On loan, good deal for Tottenham, and Man United should have been all over that. But we weren't, unfortunately, guys. And unfortunately, that is just the way the cookie crumbles in this transfer market. You snooze, you lose. Man United have got their targets. Man United are going after the players that they're going after. As I said before, Man United in this market are very tunnel visioned in regards to the way they target players. They don't target players left, right. They go straight for one, and that is it. They don't go after anyone else. And that's one criticism you can give for Man United over the number of years, that we only target one player at a time. And right now, the player that we're targeting is Benjamin Sesko. Of course, guys, Benjamin Sesko, price has been revealed. As I said a couple of days ago, Man United were preparing will bid for Benjamin Sesko, and it seems like a bid has gone in regards to him. Apparently, Benjamin Sesko's price was announced to Manchester United over the last couple of days, and there was some kind of grasp, like, oh my God, this is so expensive, sort of thing. Maybe that's a tactical thing that Manchester United are doing, So basically what it is that Man United, Sesko has a release clause. So Man United were willing to pay the release clause, but Man United want to pay Sesko in a way that they're paying him every single year, like they did with Mbumo. So if Man United are going to do that, obviously that's gonna cost interest on the deal. So basically, if Sesko's 60 million release clause, Man United will end up paying 70, 71, 72 million overall over a number of years to pay off Sesko, of course, because obviously Man United right now don't have the pennies to do that. So this is why we can afford transfers if we do it in this kind of tactic. We can do it if we stretch it out a little bit. Man United are not necessarily going to go in there and spend 20, 60, 70 million. Here's the cash. Goodbye. We're not in that position, unfortunately. And we should be, but we're not in that position, unfortunately. So what Man United will do, they'll do exactly what they did with Mbeumo. And you know what happens when this happens, guys? It takes time, doesn't it? It takes time to agree. Obviously, RB Leipzig want to get their own players in as well. There was also rumours about Rasmus Højlund going to Leipzig the other way, but I'll be like, Rasmus Højlund does not want to go to Leipzig, and we can't force Rasmus Højlund to go to Leipzig. Unfortunately, and basically I would say that he wants to fight for his place, and fair play to Rasmus Højlund. If he wants to fight for his place, he's got to prove it though. I mean, I said it yesterday, and these players can do what they want, say what they want. Next season, they got to prove it. I mean, proof is in the pudding. You saw well and good saying we're going to win the league. We want to win the league. We can win the league. Prove it. Show us some sign that you can do that at the end of the day, because at the moment, I'm not really seeing anything in regards to evidence, and football's all about what you do, not what you say, isn't it? At the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. So let's read some of your comments. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope everyone is blessed, guys. Thank you. Good morning, Randall. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Muddy. How you doing? Very well. Thank you, mate. Hope you're good. Good to see you, my friend. And big up Natty again. Good morning, Sal. I hope we get the midfielder. I honestly think, Natty, that Man United will. I think Man United won't make a move for a midfielder. And this can change, obviously, week by week, day by day. Football changes. Football doesn't deal with, absolutes, and it does change week by week, day by day. Football can be one way 1 week and another way another week. For example, Paulinho signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Everyone thought that, Man United might have a chance with Paulinho. We can get him on loan. It's not going to cost any money. And then he ends up going to Tottenham. And this is the way the transfer window can change. Man United could be interested in a player, right, for a long time, but not make their move. It doesn't mean they're not interested in the player. They are interested in the player, but they don't make their move. So they end up going somewhere else, as proven over this last few months, of course, obviously with Quenda, with Keres and players like that, of course. But what I would say is that, Man United shouldn't be neglecting the midfield, but it does look like going to a neglect of midfield. When you look at Man United's midfield at the moment, the problem is with Man United's midfield is pretty heavily stacked. You look at Collier, you look at Casemiro, you look at Ugarte, you look at Mainu, you look at Bruno. They've got 5 players there, right there, off the cuff. We're not even talking about Coney and Fletcher and Tyler Fletcher and players like that. We're not even talking about those sort of players. 5 players off the cuff, first-team players who could possibly play first-team players in that midfield. This is why. And look, you look at Ugarte, you look at Casemiro, you look at Mainu, you look at Bruno, and you look at these players, and they're on astronomical wages as well. So I don't believe that Man United will buy a midfielder unless we sell one. That is the thing going on right now. And we're finding it incredibly difficult to get rid of players at the moment. We're finding it incredibly difficult to sell players at the moment. The biggest priority for Man United right in this instant is the striker and the goalkeeper. That's what I've been hearing. Man United are going for the striker, then they're going to go after the goalkeeper. And if we have money left, if we have some change left, other areas on the pitch we concentrated on, and the money be reinvested in that part of the pitch. Now, a little bit of news coming out of Man United. Mr. Morehouse, the young player, of course, from my youth system, has decided to join my local team, Leyton Orient, on loan, guys. He has decided to join Leyton Orient on loan, so he will stay at Leyton Orient until the end of the season. So we're wishing Morehouse. I mean, we had high hopes for Morehouse, of course. He played he played in the friendlies against, was it the Asian All-Stars and Hong Kong, didn't he? And did pretty well, in my opinion. And I would say that wishing him the best of luck at Leyton Orient, a very good club. My local club, of course, I used to live literally, like the ground was literally in my garden. But he's gone from Manchester United to Leyton Orient on loan until the end of the season. So best of luck to Morehouse. And we hope that he shines and he does very well. And you know what? Maybe one day, you never know, he might come back to Manchester United, of course. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Mark. How you doing, Mark Risserman? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed. Big up Denbo. Good morning, mate. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Big up FIFA Bully TV. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Are you bullying FIFA? Big up. The Big Boy Guns. What's going on, mate? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Morn Computer. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Of course. Good morning, everyone. Absolutely. Totspur, what's that? Absolutely. What is that at the end of the day? He's gone to Totspur. Yeah, look, you know what? Tottenham, they beat Arsenal yesterday. They're a bit giddy. Totspurs, not yeah, absolutely. Paulinho is really good signing for Spurs. They needed a CDM. I don't know why Man United didn't go in for this on loan as well. Obviously, I think the wages might have been a problem. Man United might have had to pay the wages, and Man United don't want to add any wages onto their books. Of course. Look, Man United have been consistent with the way they want to do things. It looks pretty likely. They don't really want to sign players over the age of about 27. They don't want to sign these players. They want to bring players in that are a little bit younger, have a lot more of a future about them and stuff like that. In regards to Sesko and that, so look, he's gone to Tottenham. He'd probably do well at Tottenham, but you know what? We have to move on from him now. Unfortunately, it's another one that bites the dust, just like Aiden Hackney. That would be confusing if Aiden Heaven and Aiden Hackney play for Man United. But what I would say is that, like Hayden Hackney is going to Tottenham as well. Most likely he's going to be going to Tottenham. So those players will not be coming to Manchester United, of course, guys. Absolutely not. But one player that, as I said, will likely be coming to Manchester United is Benjamin Sesko. I believe Benjamin Sesko will eventually sign for Manchester United. How long is that going to take? I don't know. Probably a long time, to be honest with you, the way Man United do business. But Hayden Hackney, but Benjamin Sesko does look the likely striker to sign for Manchester United, of course, guys. Absolutely. It is interesting though, because Man United have backup options. As I said yesterday, if Man United don't sign Benjamin Sesko, they will go after the German international Nick Woltemade. Now, Nick Woltemade, of course, is a 23-year-old German striker, can also play as an attacking midfielder, currently playing for VfB Stuttgart, guys, and he is 30 million euros. He's not going to break the bank, but he's a striker that Man United are looking at. Highly underrated. As I said, a week ago, was it a week ago or 10 days ago, that Man United will be looking at players in the Bundesliga. And here's one, Nick Woltemade. Man United are looking at him, but so are other teams, guys, I would say. Newcastle United and Bayern Munich are also looking after him. Not looking after him, but looking at him. So what I would say is that if Man United fail with the Benjamin Sesko deal, which is, it could be, you never know, but I don't think they will. Man United will go after Woltemade and and as a backup option. And I don't mind this. I don't mind us having backup plans, contingency plans, and things like that, because I think it's important that if this does fail, if the Sesko deal does fall flat in its face, then we've got this. But I don't think the Sesko deal will fall flat in its face. Sesko wants to come to Man United. He's open at the move of Man United, despite no Champions League football. So that's good news. He wants to play for Man United. That's a good thing at the end of the day, I would say that. But obviously, a name to look out for is Nick Woltemade. And it's a player that I admire. I like. He's a good player. And I'm glad we're linked to these type of players. I'm glad we're linked to other strikers in Europe, because as I've been saying, the tunnel vision Man United, it's good that we're going left, every now and then. Do you know what I mean? And looking at players and preparing for the worst case scenario. If anything happens, we can go after that player. We haven't done that this year, so to speak, really, really well. We've lost players. We lost out on players, and we haven't had a contingency plan. So there we go. So that is a little bit of news coming out. Of course, guys, absolutely. Big up, Benny. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Big up, Benny Moran. Hope you're good. Kenny, snoozing and losing key players. Look, at the end of the day, Man United are going to lose out on many, many players. Obviously, a lot of players, especially a 30-year-old Paulinho, is going to want to play in the Champions League. We have to face the facts here. If a player like Paulinho, is close to his retirement age, basically. You know what I mean? He's 30 years old. He's going to want to go to get the most out of the rest of his career. And you can't blame that. At the end of the day, you can't blame that. Man United do snooze and lose. But I would say this, however, and I will say this in defense, right, of them, is that I would say if Man United, we ended the season last season and someone told you Man United will have Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko up front next season, that's not too bad, is it? That is probably the best. Those three there are probably some of the best signings in the window out of all the teams. I'm not just talking about Man United, out of all the teams. The problem Man United are having is the quantity of signings that we're signing. We're not signing enough players. We're not filling up the whole positions. But then again, Ruben Amorim did say, didn't he? Ruben Amorim did say at the end of last season that we're not going to do all the business in one window. We're going to do it in the next window and the next window. So as I said, guys, Man United will concentrate on other positions. Maybe not this window, maybe next summer. I don't trust January. I'm not talking about January because January is lies. Every time they say January, it doesn't happen. But two players that Man United are heavily interested in, and we like as fan base, is obviously Adam Wharton and Mr. Baleba, of course, of Brighton and Albion, guys. Now, it has been spoken about Ben Jacobs yesterday, and there are other outlets saying, guys, in regards to these two players, Man United are very interested in Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba, but will not be doing business this season, this summer, in regards to those two players. Those two players will be revisited next window, guys. So Manchester United could quite possibly do a deal for a midfielder next window. It's all about finances at the end of the day with the Ineos. As we know, they're running out of money, apparently, which I don't believe. But you know what? They don't want to spend so much, even though it's a godsend. We need to get these players through the door. But Man United are heavily interested in Baleba and Adam Wharton. But it doesn't look like Man United are going to bring any of those players in this summer, unfortunately for some. But as I've just explained, Man United have a very well covered in that midfield position. Obviously, as I said, you've got Casemiro, you've got Ugarte, you've got Mainu, you've got Collier, you've got Bruno. You've got these players, not including Kone as well. So Man United can't have 10 bloody midfielders. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're going to have to get rid of some of those players, of course, if they want to do that. Because when you're looking at Casemiro is our highest paid player, guys. He's the highest. He's got the highest wage on our books. And he's still at our football club at the end of the day. 370,000, isn't it? Guys, absolutely. Bello, good morning. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who are you talking about, Mr. Sal? Big up, Bello. Big up. Good morning. Sal, are there any midfield on the market who we can get cheap? This owner's on. It's sickening me. There's loads of nutty. We can go around the whole of Europe. As I said, Javi Guerra, you can probably get him for about 25 million euros, from Valencia. There are players out there that Man United could possibly go for. There are players around Europe, around the world, indeed, that Man United could possibly sign. But Man United just don't seem like they want to do that. And this is what's disappointing for me, because it seems like they're reluctant to spend money on targets like a Javi Guerra, like, for example, a Paulinho or something like that. They're reluctant to do that for whatever reason that is. I personally believe that what they're interested in at the moment, what Ineos and that are interested in the moment, they're more interested in selling shirts than actually bringing in players and bringing in numbers. Like Sesko sells shirts and Bumo sells shirts. Cunha sells shirts, of course. I think they're more interested in selling shirts than bringing these type of players in, which is disappointing because we need what's best for the team. We don't need what is is flashy. We don't always need flashy signing. Sometimes you can bring in a player from another club, from a different football club, and they're not flashy, but they do a job for you at the end of the day. Alex Ferguson did it many, many times. He'll bring in a player that, why did we sign him? Carrick was not flashy, guys. When we brought in Michael Carrick was not flashy. There were a number of fans that were questioning that transfer when that transfer went through. Let me tell you that right now. He was not flashy, but we got it done, guys, absolutely. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. I hope everyone else. Please update on Sesko. Yeah, just been speaking about that, my friend. Big up. What is happening to Donnarumma now? The thing with Donnarumma now, we have to really take things with a pinch of salt, because Donnarumma, Man United are interested in Donnarumma. As I said, that just because Man United are interested in Donnarumma doesn't mean that we're going to get Donnarumma. Man United have inquired about Donnarumma, as I was speaking about yesterday. The Italian international goalkeeper at PSG. He is the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. But Man United have inquired about him. But we also have to be very wary of what is going on here. There was also circulation of news that Manchester United, Donnarumma, is fishing for a new contract. So basically trying to get his PR status up. So basically, and what these agents would do, they would plant news into the media that was spread around. So other teams would hear it and say, Donnarumma's available for a transfer. Let me put in a bid. And then other teams will put in a bid and it could start a bidding war. It's a bit like that, isn't it? It's a big PR, a circus at the end of the day in this transfer window. It is silly season. And, this could be a tactical move. But as Donnarumma is not interested in staying at PSG right now, it is an opportunity for there is an opportunity for Man United to purchase Donnarumma. Now, Donnarumma would be an absolute game changer for Man United. And Man United have inquired about Donnarumma, not put in a bid. They just inquired about Donnarumma. Jan Agafiotov, of course, who is the ex-Swindon Town player, currently a pundit on ESPN FC. He did speak about Donnarumma and said that it's not a lie. Man United are interested in him. As I spoke about last week, that Man United are interested in Donnarumma. And just because we're not in the Champions League doesn't mean that Donnarumma is not going to sign for Manchester United. As I spoke about yesterday, If you don't know why Donnarumma won't sign for Man United, then you don't really understand Man United. If you don't really understand Man United, because Man United are a different pool, Man United are a different animal. Some players actually like the history and heritage of our football club and want to bring our football club back to the promised land where we deserve to be, of course, guys. But that at the moment, it is all basically rumours in regards to what Donnarumma is doing, in regards to not signing a new contract with PSG. Rumours about other clubs, etc., etc. It is all rumours, as his name is Donnarumma at the end of the day. But what I would say is that take it with a pinch of salt. He's not necessarily fishing for PR. I don't think that, but that is the rumours that are going around, that he could be fishing for PR, and basically getting other teams interested in him. I don't know why, anyway, but because he is a good player and other teams will be interested in him. But it does help with the valuation when players. The PR is up and the share prices and that go up and all that malarkey, all that mathematical stuff and everything like that. That happens. And basically, that is what it could be happening right now in regards to Donnarumma and not signing a contract at PSG. People would look at PSG and I think, oh my God, why wouldn't he stay at PSG? Why would Donnarumma stay at PSG? He should leave. He should stay at PSG. They're the best club in the world at the moment. PSG, in relative terms, in regards to the footballing, the club size, are very small clubs compared to Manchester United. They're a very small club compared to many teams in Europe. They're just a very good football team at the moment. And obviously, not many people out there are saying, why would he leave PSG? Well, one of the reasons that he may leave PSG is that playing in France. Maybe he wants to play in the Premier League. At the end of the day, that is what. Maybe he wants to play in La Liga. You don't know that, do we? At the end of the day. So that's interesting. That transfer, we have to keep it by ear. As I said earlier, I said it earlier this week, that Man United may not do a deal for a goalkeeper until Onana is gone, until Onana is out. Because Man United can't sign a player like Donnarumma if we still got a player like Onana at the football club. You can't have two number ones there. One of them will have to be on the bench, at the end of the day. And, as I said, that Ineos see players as assets. They don't see them as players. They see them as money. And if they cannot afford to keep a player like Onana on the bench, if they can make money from Onana, of course, which they believe they can. But obviously, I do believe this one will also drag on until the end of August. I think the goalkeeper situation will drag on to the end of August. I do believe as well that the Sesko deal will drag on till probably the first game of the season against Arsenal. I believe that. I think it will be literally, guys, you can say this, right? Sesko was signed for Man United a couple of days before we play Arsenal. And that'll be the boost and the PR. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what I'm predicting. Good morning, Coco. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Plan is definitely a miss. There is also Douglas Luiz there on the plate, but there is only one person in the recruitment office team, it seems. Yeah, at the end of the day, as I've explained, Coco, Man United have got too many midfielders. Man United can't bring in a midfielder if they've got too many midfielders at the moment. What Man United are concentrating on is what we don't have, which is a striker at the moment. We don't have a competent striker who can put the ball in the back of the net, which is why we're fighting tooth and nail for that. Now, look, Man United are playing one game a week this season. And I did say this, guys. The biggest issue, and now let me tell you why Man United are not going to sign, are unlikely to sign a midfielder this summer. Not only about finances, let me tell you this. Bruno is guaranteed a spot in that team. Let me tell you. Bruno is guaranteed a spot in that midfield. He will play in that midfield as the number 8. So that means you've got Mainu, Ugarte, Casemiro, Collier, and obviously Kone and other players like that vying for one spot in the team. So why would Man United sign another midfielder if they've got 5 players playing for one position? Because Bruno will be guaranteed a spot in that team. Let me tell you that right now, in the number 8 position. And that means that this is why Man United are not fighting tooth and nail and really going all out for a midfielder at the moment. Whether you agree or not, it's just the way they do things, isn't it? Obviously, Ugarte's on quite a bit of money. Casemiro's on 370 grand a week. I mean, so obviously that is a point. Good morning, Randy. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, of course. Natty, Sal, do you want Højlund to stay even if Sesko come? I want what Ruben Amorim wants. I want what's best for the football team. I don't want anything. I want a successful Manchester United. And whatever it is, whether I like it or I dislike it, I mean, if it's good for Manchester United, then so be it. Even if it is one of my players. Look, Garnacho was one of my favourite players. But if he has to be sold to help Manchester United and to help the atmosphere within the football club, I'm all happy for that to happen, of course. Because at the end of the day, we need what's best for Manchester United. I don't deal with player FC. I don't do that. I like certain players. I do support certain players. But at the end of the day, what I would say is that, you know what, if it's best for the football club, then he can leave. But if it's best for the football club for him to stay, then he can stay. And at the end of the day, I will support him. And that is how I do things here. I do it like that. You know, at the end of the day, players come, players go. Footballers come, footballers go. That's what we have to understand. I don't attach myself to footballers, especially not this football team. Especially not this football team, because what they did last season, I have not forgiven them. I'm still not forgiven them for what happened last season. Of course, when we lost, we not only came 15th, but we lost the most embarrassing final in the history against Tottenham Hotspur. So at the end of the day, I don't have any affiliations with them. I hope they do well if they stay, and I wish them the best of luck. And I hope they hit the back of the net. But if they leave, then so be it. And then, you know what, bring it. No, but one thing I would say, Natty, if we get rid of Rasmus, he has to be replaced, because we cannot go into the season with one recognized striker. At the end of the day, you're looking at Chido Obi Martin. I'm looking at Chido Obi Martin. Is Chido Obi Martin ready to start playing in the Premier League? You know, so Man United would have to bring in another striker, of course, guys. Whether we bring one on loan or we bring another one, it remains to be seen, of course. Maybe bring in a Mitrovic or something like that. That would be good, of course. Big up, Randy, of course, guys. Good morning. Hope everyone is blessed. Hey, good morning, Marky Mark. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Anna Queen, how are you, my friend? Very well. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, my guy. Hope you're well. For us, having the best in class, but can only do one deal at a time, I say that you make the sporting director, Glory Man United. I say you make you this work. Thank you so much, Marky Marky. I would love to. At the end of the day, Marky Marky, I would guarantee you, if I was working for Manchester United, I would get more than one deal. I would have about 20 players ready for them. I would, even more than that. I'll probably bring forward about 20 players for them and say, look, all these players are available and they're cheap and they're talented. They'll probably sack me the next day, Marky Mark, because I'm exposing them. That's what they probably do, because I would bring loads of players to the fore. I would bring players from all corners of the globe and say, these players are available, they're good, you know, they've got the mentality, they're fit, their stats are good and stuff. And they'll go, oh my goodness me, this Sal, guys, you know, this Sal is a bit of a problem, he is. Do you know what I mean? We got to get rid of him at the end of the day. But thank you so much, Mark. I hope you're doing blessed. Thank you so much for joining the membership as well. Guys, don't forget you can become a member as well, guys. Lots of great material is coming very, very soon on the channel, guys. Watch this space. Really great stuff coming, of course. Thank you, guys. Hoyland and Xerxes. Big boy guns. Look, what is the common demeanor between Hoyland and Xerxes? Throughout their career, they've not scored a lot of goals. Goal scoring is a skill. Goal scoring is a talent. I class Xerxes as a number 10. I don't see Xerxes as a striker. I don't mind Man United putting Xerxes as a stopgap. I don't mind him being in that position. But as it's proven last season, he does okay there, but he's not a goal scorer. You know what I mean? He doesn't score the goals that we need. He can score good goals. He does score goals, maybe 10 goals a season. Man United need a proper gunman, a proper number 9 that is going to hold the line, bring players into play, able to head the ball, able to finish. You know, goal scoring is not something to be sniffed at. Otherwise, we would just play Paul Scholes up front under Alex Ferguson. Because at the end of the day, Paul Scholes can finish. You know, goal scoring and being a striker is a completely different skill. I actually believe that people are born with it. You know, born with the ability to do that, of course. You know, when people are talking about 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds who, you know, are too young. They're young. You can't expect them to score goals. They're so young. They're 22, 23. Let me just take you back. Michael Owen, okay, who is one of the most mocked players in Manchester United's history, right, because he signed from Liverpool, at 18 years old, was scoring a world-class goal against Argentina, right? And that's what I would say. There are levels to this game. There are levels to this game. No, you don't paint everyone with the same brush, because at the end of the day, Harry Kane was 22. He wasn't doing as well as he is. But you could see with Harry Kane that he was a good finisher. He could put the ball in the back of the net, etc., etc., etc. But right now, the way we're looking at it, I don't want to use the old thing, because 22, 23 for a footballer, I don't believe is old. I believe you're near your peak these days. So you look at Michael Owen. What did Michael Owen do at 17, 18 years old? And you have to look at that. And you have to look at the levels here. And for me, I look at Rasmus and, you know, I hope he comes good. I really do. And I hope that Xerxes comes. I like Xerxes, by the way. I do feel, however, that Xerxes is a bench player and he can come off the bench and play in some games and, you know what, blend himself into the team. I also think he's a fabulous personality. But in regards to Rasmus, I just feel like the jury is going to be out all season. Top of the morning, done and dusted. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. As a backup, big up. As a backup, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, as a backup, I don't mind that. I don't mind players in the squad. Of course, it's no substitute for having a big squad. Excuse the pun, guys. But we do need a big squad, of course. And obviously, as the season goes in, as Man United have proven time and time again, year in, year out, Man United get injuries. And you know what? We're going to need players to fit in, of course. Irfan, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I need Carlos Baleba and Anna Warner and bring in Saudi how for 100 million. Big up, Irfan. Hope you're doing well. Muddy, good morning. I think it was Ornstein saying if we get Sesko, United still looking to bring in 2 more. Man United will be looking to bring in 2 or 3 more, but Muddy, it does depend on what happens with Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho at the moment. It is a little bit stalemate in regards to those players. Man United do need to offload some players. Obviously, this is the way Ineos are doing things at the moment. Man United's ambition is to get more players through the door. Of course it is. But also, obviously, there was news from Ben Jacobs that Man United like and admire players like Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba, but may not do a deal this summer because of the price. Because they're going to be astronomically expensive. As we know with Brighton and Hove Albion, Brighton are very good at bringing players in. And you know what? They're very good at selling them as well because they get a lot of money for their buck in regards to the players that come in and players that they sell. They make a lot of money. That is what they are at the end of the day. They're a profitable business. That's what Brighton are. They're not really a football club that wants to qualify. Because when you look at Brighton, when is the last time they qualified for Europe or done anything significant? They're just there to make money. That's what Brighton are there to do. So Man United at the moment, I would say this, and this is my prediction, buddy. If Man United gets Sesko, once Man United gets Sesko, I do believe Man United will get a goalkeeper. I hope and I pray that Man United manage to get a midfielder. But as I said there, Man United are very heavily stacked in midfield and have to offload one of those midfielders, if anything. This is why I was bringing in the conversation about Kobbie Mainoo the other day. And I really like Kobbie Mainoo. Would Man United sell Kobbie Mainoo? Would they sell Kobbie Mainoo? They need to sell, obviously, Casemiro, but Casemiro's in the last year of his contract. Casemiro's going to run down his contract. No one wants to pay the money for Casemiro. Casemiro's on 370 grand a week. This is the problem. Will they sell one of those midfielders? Of course, there is rumours about Toby Collier going on loan, which may free up some space. But obviously, that doesn't mean that Man United can go out and buy Carlos Baleba because Carlos Baleba, his price tag is incredibly expensive. So Man United, if they got rid of a player like Collier, will probably bring in a player like Javi Guerra or someone like that, who's a lot more cheaper than a Baleba. So that Man United are trying to be a little bit more shrewd and obviously clever in this market. But my prediction is that Man United will sign a striker and a goalkeeper. That's what I feel. And if Man United manage to get a midfielder as well, I have to applaud Ineos. I have to say, well done. You got Mbeumo, Cunha, a striker, a midfielder, and a goalkeeper. It's the minimum, okay? It's the minimum, but we still need more. But for me, that would represent an acceptable window that I would be content with. Not exactly jumping up and down, but if someone told me at the beginning of the window, this is who we're going to sign. We're going to sign Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko, a midfielder, a goalkeeper. I would be like, it's all right. It's all right. It's not too bad. We can work with that. We can work with that. And as I said, like Ruben Amorim, obviously he's got a pre-season. He can work with these players. He can, the players that are still there, he can work with. There are a number of young players coming through the ranks, of course. Obviously, Ethan Williams scored the other day. Obviously, we've got Mantato coming through as well on that side. So there are a lot of positives to come out of Man United. Hopefully that some of these youngsters will get a chance at Man United as well, or get a chance to exert themselves and get some time to prove themselves. Of course, Alex Ferguson, the great quote from Alex Ferguson, you have to give youngsters a chance. Otherwise, they will stagnate and drift away, basically, and end up playing for the lower divisions and things like that, as is proven many, many times in the past. And youngsters will seldom let you down. Another great Alex Ferguson quote, of course. Kone needs more games. He needs to get Carlos Baleba. And as I just explained, Carlos Baleba is going to cost 60, 70, even 80 million at the moment. The way that Brighton do their business, they're very, very good at selling players. A player like Carlos Baleba, who's heavily admired by various football clubs around the world. Man United can't do the deal. Unfortunately, we're not run by sugar daddies or billionaires, unfortunately, as much as we should have been, and we could have been. Man United are not run by these people. So what Man United need to do, if Man United are going to get in a Carlos Baleba, Man United have to sell a Garnacho, an Anthony, a Sancho, maybe a Casemiro, before we can even think about doing a deal for Carlos Baleba. Man United will sign Sesko, the fan base will get happy and stuff, and that this is the problem, obviously, because then we will forget about what needs to be done at that football club. A midfield does need to come in. Of course he does need to come in. We need a midfielder. We need a number 8, a proper one. But as I just explained, Bruno Fernandes will play in that number 8 position, regardless what anyone says. He will play in that number 8 position. So that's getting 5 or 6 players vying for one position. right? It's for one position. So will we sign another midfielder when we got 5 or 6 players there? Regardless of what you think, how good they are, regardless if you think they're not good enough, they're numbers and they're wages. That is how Ineos see them. They are numbers and they are wages. And they're on the books, of course. Absolutely. We do have to move on some players, of course. Muddy. Obviously, could be youngsters rather than first-team players. Absolutely, Muddy. Big up, Muddy, by the way. Big up, Grayer. What's going on, brother? I hope you're on. Just a quick visit as I'm driving up to Blackpool for the weekend. Please, everyone, can you smash the like button, subscribe, and you show your appreciation. Enjoy Blackpool, my friend. Good big up Blackpool, of course. I've never been to Blackpool. Enjoy the Blackpool Tower and stuff like that. Enjoy it, Grayer. You deserve it, mate. Have a good time, mate. Take it easy. Absolutely. Natty, this owners think that they back the manager, they're incompetent owners. Of course, they're competent owners at the end of the day. I believe in Ruben Amorim, that Ruben Amorim is going to shock a lot of people next season. And I don't want any of the praise going to Ineos. I don't. The only way I'm going to a little bit say, well done, Ineos, and I'm not going to say it with my full chest, but I'm going to say this. The only way I'm going to say, well done, Ineos, is if Ineos get a striker, get a midfielder, get a goalkeeper. Look, for example, argument's sake, if the miracle happened and Man United got Sesko, Baleba, and Donnarumma, imagine that happened. Then you're going to have to give them praise. You know what I mean? But right now, that looks heavily unlikely that that's going to happen. And you know what? I would say that they fouled in this transfer market already. The reason they fouled in this transfer market already is the fact that they haven't got the players ready for the first game of the season. And I don't think they're going to get the players ready for the first game of the season. I do think they're going to drag out these transfers all the way up until the 1st of September, which is the end of the transfer window. That's what I think we're going to do. Unfortunate as it is, but I think that's what we're going to do. Marky Mark. I do think Sesko's risk, but longevity-wise, he can become a star. But we do need a midfielder. Maybe I should come out of retirement. Big up, Marky Mark. Yeah, we do need a midfielder, unfortunately. But the thing is, they don't see it that way. They don't see that we need a midfielder. They see 5 players vying for one position. That's what they see, because obviously Bruno Fernandes is going to solidify his position in that midfield. So that means 5 players playing for one position. So they look at it, Ineos will look at that and think, no, we don't really need a midfielder. We got. Why do we need a midfielder? They're going to say we got Casemiro, we got Ugarte, we got Mainu, we got Collier, we got Kone, we got these, and they're going to be on that sort of mentality, ain't they? They're going to be that, and you can also think about, you know what? At the end of the day. The way they do things is that they think about things in pound signs. So they think about things in pound signs. They don't think about things logically like we do, that, we got these players in the midfield, but they're not really as good enough to take us forward. I rate Ugarte. I rate Mainu. I rate Bruno. I don't rate Bruno as number 8, but I rate Ugarte and Mainu. The other midfielders, I do believe Casemiro is finished. I don't think Casemiro can play in that midfield anymore. I'll be honest with you, mate, Marky Mark. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think that Casemiro is finished. I think he's too slow for the Premier League, and I think he needs to be replaced. That's what I think. I think that is where you needed to bring in a Baleba or Adam Wharton or someone of that ilk. Reported yesterday by Ben Jacobs, of course. Ben Jacobs is a friend of the show. He reported that Man United will not make a move for any of those players until next window, which basically means next summer. Don't count January, because we're not going to do any move in January. I've lost hope in January moves, of course, guys. Absolutely. But yeah, Man United need a lot of positions. Man United need a right wing back. Man United do need a right wing back. I don't believe that Ahmed is the right guy to play right wing back. I don't think he's a right wing back at all. I don't. And that's the thing. But you can use Ahmad in different kinds of games. Like, for example, if we're playing a lower team in the Premier League, you can play Ahmad in a more attacking capacity. But in regards to if you're playing that formation, when you're playing Arsenal or you're playing Liverpool or Man City, you're going to have to play a proper wing back. For example, if we're playing Liverpool at Anfield, right? Let me give you an example. And this is my biggest concern. Liverpool have got Frimpong, Liverpool got Kerkez at the end of the day. So they got defensive attacking wing backs. We got Ahmad, who are attackers. They're attackers at the end of the day. So they're going to be less inclined naturally not to go back. And we need that type of player. We need that. I don't think Dalot is good enough. In my opinion, I don't think Dalot is good enough. I think Man United needed to get a Wesley, a Vanderson, a Frimpong, someone of that ilk. Obviously, Wesley and Frimpong are gone. Vanderson's still available, but I doubt that they're going to make a move in that position, of course, unfortunately. Big up, big boy, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Baleba seems to be planned for next year. Really hope we stick to that one. I hope so, Coco. But also what we have to remember, Coco, is that, do you remember when Ferguson of Brighton, people were raving about him, he's going to be the next Wayne Rooney and stuff like that. He had one good season and then the next season he sort of drifted away. It's very important, isn't it? This is also very important, is that if Baleba has a poor season this season, He might not be Man United's target next season. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But at the same time, if Baleba has a good season, then it solidified his position as a very, very good player. We know he's a good player. I know he's a good player. I've seen him. I think he's a new Yaya Toure. But, what I would say is that, he would solidify his position. I hope we do, Coco. I hope we do stick to our guns. I hope there's only two players I think that will fix our midfield, Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba. Those are the two players that I think are fix our midfield. I do think there are players out there that can do a job. Yavi Guerra, for example, those sort of players could do a job. But I think if Man United are seriously considering challenging for titles and stuff like that, just like when Liverpool signed McAllister, Man United need to go out and sign Baleba, someone like that. And that will be a signal. That will be a statement signing. That will be like, oh, they mean business now. They're fixing the areas of the pitch. Sadly, at the moment, Man United still have an element of the bad culture at the football club. And that bad culture is this. Players play because who they are. Now, despite playing out of position, they will play anyway. And that is my biggest concern. Morning, Camo. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you again. Hope you're blessed. Good to see you. And thank you, Coco. Big up, Coco, of course. Sal, is the goalkeeper we sign start a bench or a bench opens? It depends, Natty. It depends who Man United get. So if Man United manage to offload Onana and manage to get an Emi Martinez or a Donnarumma, for argument's sake, if Man United manage to get one of them, one of those keepers who come in will be the number one. But if Onana stays at Man United, which I feel looks likely to happen, in my opinion, I think is likely to happen. Man United could quite possibly sign a Senny Lamens, and he could be fighting for that number one position and slowly urge Onana out of the team and slowly take Onana's place. That could quite possibly happen because obviously Senny Lamens, what is he, 20, 21 years old at the end of the day? So look, you're looking at Senny Lamens and he is a future superstar, in my opinion. He's the next Petr Cech, he's the next Courtois, whatever you want to say. He's a great goalkeeper. I've been watching him for a while as well. And guys, look, if Man United sign Emi Martinez or Donnarumma, those will be the number ones and Onana will be at the door. But if Onana stays, Man United are signing Senny Lamens. That is what I'm feeling at the moment. That's what I predict at the moment. Lee Davies, good morning. Hackney is next to Ugarte, far too simple. Big up, Lee Davies. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Of course, absolutely. Yes, bring a player like 30 years old to EPL now, to Alpha EPL now. Not necessarily. Morning, Sal. Morning, Brian. How you doing? Teddy Sheringham signed for Man United at 32. Morning, Brian. How you doing? I hope you're doing well and won us the Champions League. Tyborg. Good morning, Tyborg. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Shiny, happy people. I love that song, Tyborg. You're gonna bring that. You're gonna put that song in my head. I remember when I was younger, traveling to see my granddad, and that song playing in the car. Yeah, Shiny, happy people. I haven't heard that song for a long, long time. Absolutely. Big up, Tyborg. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you as usual. Hope you're having a great. Is it Friday? Why does it feel like a Saturday or Sunday today? So I honestly think that if we sign a midfielder and a goalkeeper, fifth place is here to grab. I think higher than that, mate. I think higher than that. I think Man United can aim higher. I think if Man United sign a goalkeeper and a striker and a midfielder, they can aim higher than that. But we have to understand that Man United have got Mainu and Ugarte. These are very good players, guys. We cannot write these players off. Ugarte didn't have a preseason last season. We have to remember that, guys. We're very happy with signing with new signings. We're so giddy about new signings. But Ugarte didn't have a preseason last season. And you know what? And he's still relatively okay last season. We need to give him a chance. And we also need to get Ugarte. Look, for example, if Ugarte is playing for Brighton, everyone would be saying, let's get that player Ugarte. Let's get that player Ugarte. People will be saying that at the end of the day. If Mainu was playing for Brighton, imagine Kobe Mainu was playing for Brighton right now. People were like, oh my God, have you seen that player, Kobe Mainu? What a player. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because it's fashionable to do so. So at the end of the day, if Man United sign a striker and a goalkeeper, I will be content. If they sign a midfielder, happy days at the end of the day. But what's going to happen with Casemiro, and players like that, you know what I mean? And that's one thing we have to say. Marky Mark, the board needs to back Aaron. I see progress with the star, just needs better midfielders. I agree, Marky Mark. I think the one overriding thing about football these days, especially in the Premier League, not least in the Premier League, is that it's pace, athleticism. And I don't think we quite have that in the midfield. I think that Bruno, as I explained, before, I don't think Bruno's at number 8, Marky Mark. I don't think so. His body position is not a number 8 position. I said his feet are like this, right? Bruno's feet are like this, right? So when your feet are like this, you can't do these sharp little turns. These sharp little turns that Paul Scholes used to do, or Iniesta or Xavi in the midfield. You can't do that. You're very square-footed. He's more inclined for a number 10 position, right? I know people will laugh at that. I know people will say, what the hell are you talking about, Sal? What's that all about? I'm telling you right now, square-footed. If you're number 8, if you're square-footed, right, you can't play that position properly. And this is what through experience, guys, at the end of the day. Unfortunately, as I said, that, you know what, Bruno will play anyway, but in that midfield, I would love him to play number 10. But you know what I mean. But you know, I don't think he's going to play for the 10. I don't think we brought in Mbumo and Cunha to play to be on the bench, basically. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, I just hope that we do progress well next season. I do think that our midfield is not athletic enough. I don't think it's quick enough. I think there are other midfields in the Premier League who are better than ours. Although I rate Ugarte, I do rate Ugarte, and I think if Ugarte and Maidu play together, it will be a decent partnership. You know, I would say that if you watch the game against Bournemouth, of course, it was far more better. I think that Man United needs to concentrate more on balance rather than individuals, and this is what I've been saying. I don't think necessarily Man United's problem is individuals. I think it is balance of the team. I think Man United just don't balance their team right, and they try to shoehorn players into certain positions. Big up, Marky Mark, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Mickey, Sal, what if signings had to be competed before preseason starts, and then they can add a month in the winter? Better team play should work for Big Five league. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, look, there's no excuses why Man United couldn't get all their business done before this season started. There was obviously still 2 weeks and a half we play Arsenal. Man United could have got there, but we have been very, very slow and lethargic in this transfer window. We took 50 days on Mbumo, you know, and end up paying what Brentford wanted in the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And, the problem with Man United are having is the way they want to pay for these deals. They want to pay for these deals in installments. They don't want to pay a big up chunk of money to the club, of course. The window's very short. I agree with that, Mickey. The window's very short, and they do need to negotiate the window a little bit, because obviously there are teams out there who can't do business quick enough. The biggest issue that teams have is that when they sell a player late, you know, when you start getting late in the transfer window, you start getting into a precarious position where you can't replace that player. And, especially the smaller teams, so this is why they need the money quick, and they need the money up front. This is why Brentford wanted the money in case, they can't find a player, and they need cash, at the end of the day. But yeah, look, I do feel that the window needs to be worked on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up Mickey, by the way. Mono, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Please, someone to replace Casemiro. Awesome player, but we need young blood quality like Casemiro and better. Hope someone will come in for him. Man United obviously had links with Casemiro going to Saudi Arabia last year, isn't it? But obviously the price of his wages is extremely high, and he's not willing to reduce his wages, and he's willing to sit on that wage until the end of the season. It's not his fault, as he's contracted to do that, and Man United are contractually obliged to honour that, of course. But one thing I'll say, I agree with that, Mornay. Casemiro, I think Casemiro is finished. I like Casemiro. Casemiro is a generational. Casemiro is one of the greatest midfielders of the last 20 years. I like that. I like him as a player, but I do believe that as well, Mornay, that Man United need to obviously concentrate on a younger player like an Adam Wharton, like a Baleba, and build around that, to be honest with you, at the end of the day. But we need to look at loads of things. Bruno's slow. He's very slow. Ugarte is not rapid. We do need someone in there quick. We do need a Baleba. We do need a Wharton. We do need someone like that who's a little bit nippy, a little bit quick. And but unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to do that. And that is sad for me, because at the end of the day, we're going to get the job half done again, which is half done. I mean, getting the striker positions done, we have, at the end of the day, and we haven't got the right back, the midfielder. Probably, if you for argument's sake, if you're playing devil's advocate, you could probably argue that we need a defender. Because you look at Lindelof and you look at Evans, they're gone as well. We do need young blood. We do need quality. I do believe in some of those young players. I do. But in the midfield position, Man United are not where we want to be. Of course, we're not. The striker, the attack can complement the midfield a little bit. They can help the midfield a little bit. But I do think that, we have too many players in that position, which is why Ineos are not going to sign the players. We have too many players in that position that are on a lot of wages that we can't get rid of, which is why Ineos will not move for another midfielder. Because if they move for another midfielder, the likes of Casemiro and that will be sitting on the bench on 370 grand a week. And this is how they think. However well we think that is, that's how they think. There is no news coming about Casemiro at the moment. There's nothing coming out of the airways in regards to Casemiro. Casemiro will be a Manchester United player next season. And it is his last season. So there we go. It shows, as you said, we have the pulling power. We do, Brian. Big up, Brian, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Man United do have the pulling power. Man United is still Manchester United. If you understand football and you learn about football and you understand who Manchester United are, right? I'm not saying this just because I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm saying this because of Manchester United's history and Manchester United's heritage. Man United have a history better than anyone else in world football, right? And some things transcend trophies. Some things transcend Champions League. Man United transcend that for some people. And those people who sign for Man United purely based on the facts that we're Manchester United are the people that truly understand football. People who say, oh, but PSG this, PSG are cooking, PSG are this, PSG, and things like that, for example. They don't understand football. They watch football with vibes. They're more like vibe fans. They're not like fans that understand football and understand the heritage of football and understand the heritage of Manchester United. You know? At the end of the day, PSG couldn't even step on Man United one little bit. You know, at the end of the day, just because they're a good football team doesn't mean they're better as an all-round football club. Playing for Manchester United as opposed to playing for PSG is more. Playing for Manchester United is still more prestigious, regardless of what anyone thinks. Yeah, you might have more chance of winning the French league. I don't think PSG are going to win the Champions League again, but I think you have more chance of winning the French league and stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, like who can't win the French league? Who can't win the French league at the end of the day? And this is what I'm saying. And that's no disrespect to PSG. I'm not being disrespectful to PSG. I'm just saying that Manchester United are a different animal. And Man United are a sleeping giant. And Man United will awaken one day. We will awaken one day. And we will be reaching that pivotal, that peak again. We will be. Yes, mate, we do. No shit, Sherlock. Big up Irfan. We do need world-class players. Man United need world-class. Victor Osimhen is a big miss for me. Yeah, Victor Osimhen has gone to Galatasaray. Victor Osimhen will not be signing for Manchester United, unfortunately. However you think, my biggest sadness about this deal is that he's gone to Galatasaray, and Galatasaray don't notoriously spend money, and they don't notoriously spend money on wages or transfer fees. But I wish Osimhen the best of luck. Let him go there. We're concentrating on Sesko now, so let's hopefully we get Sesko over the line. If we don't get Sesko over the line, then we are pretty screwed, ain't we? At least we can get Nick Watame there, of course, maybe. Ciao, good morning. I hope you're doing well. I'm not sure about Sesko. What's the last time a striker from Germany has been successful in the Premier League? When was the last time a German striker when's the last time a German striker signed for a Premier League club, Chow? That is the question. There aren't many German strikers that have gone to England and signed, apart from you can think of Fulgerag, who signed for West Ham United, but he wasn't really a prolific goal scorer. You think about that. There's not many strikers out there who have signed for Man United. But Chow, it shows a lack of intelligence when we paint people with the same brush at the end of the day. You know, you could argue, when was the last Norwegian to come to England and score goals at the end of the day, before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walked into the football club? But we still signed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, didn't we? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored goals. When's the last Trinidad and Tobagan to come to Man United and score goals? But we still signed Dwight York. You know, we still signed him at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that you don't sign him. You know, you can argue that point with anyone. You know, when was the last Brazilian to come to Manchester United and absolutely kill it? When was the last, you know, you could argue, go again and again and again. When's the last Nigerian to come to Man United and kill it? You know, if we signed Osimhen, you're going to say the same thing. When's the last Nigerian to come to Man United and really kill it? Are you going to say that as well? You can't paint people with the same brush. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Absolutely not. Marky Mark, we just need to, and good morning, by the way, Charles. It's polite to come on and say good morning, mate. I know you're a kid. And we just need to put the United back to United and running these owners out. They talk a big game, but can't back it. They can't. At the end of the day, when we're going to analyze this transfer window, Marky, I want to analyze it fairly for them and stuff like that. I don't want to be overly pessimistic and stuff. But what I would say is that overall, when we're looking at the transfer window right now, as we look at it, is edging towards a failure. It hasn't been successful. They can retrieve that, however. They can retrieve the transfer window. If they sign a midfielder, they sign a goalkeeper, they sign a right wing back, they don't, and they absolutely smashed it this next couple of weeks, then you can say, yeah, well, you know, they've done all right. But right now, right this moment in time, guys, I want to bring this into you. If Man United right now, with Cunha and Mbeumo, sign Sesko, sign, let's say, let me say midfielder that is available. Let's say a Javi Reguera. And let's say, for example, a Donnarumma. How would you rate this window out of 10? You know? Now, I think it was Mark Goldbridge who said it, and he said it very well. I think he said that if Man United signed Mbeumo and Cunha, and no other team in the Premier League could sign anyone, have we made up ground? Have we made up ground? Have we catched up? And that's what I would say. That's a very damning verdict, because at the end of the day, you have to be honest and realistic in regards. No, because what Man United needed this season was a complete overhaul. Man United needed 10, 15 players in, out as well, and unfortunately we haven't done that. But they can get some element of respectability back into the transfer market. They can. And if they sign a striker, they got Sesko in there. They brought a midfielder, been fantastic. If they got a goalkeeper, even if they didn't bring in a midfielder and they brought in a striker and they brought in a goalkeeper, I would still be like, it's a lot better than last season. But it's not exactly what we want. But it's a lot better than last season. What happened, of course. But big up, Marky Mark. Great comments there, mate. It is a big debate, guys. The way things are going at the end of the day with Ineos and stuff. Absolutely. Penny Pinch United, absolutely, Randy, as we predicted. Thank you so much, Marky Mark, and thank you for your support and your generosity, my friend. Thank you so much, my guy. It was always 2, possibly 3 targets. Big up, Brian. Yeah. Big up, Brian. Yeah, it's a lot of work to be done still, though. Big up, Timo. Good morning. How you doing, you legend? Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're blessed. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well, of course, guys. Absolutely. Natty. We have a couple of completion next year for both Baleba and Wharton, unfortunately. We have a completion next year for both Baleba and Wharton, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, we have a competition. I think you mean competition. We have competition for Baleba. Yeah, of course we will. Of course we'll have competition. They're great players, of course. Snoozing and losing, isn't it? Absolutely. Irfan, next window, Carlos Baleba and the Water will never come. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal will come in, and that's a Man United go. You never know what's going to happen next season, Irfan. You never know, mate. Let's not talk about what's going to happen next season, because we don't know, do we? I heard last season that Mbeumo, I heard during the season last season that Mbeumo is going to go to Liverpool. It didn't happen, did it? Brian, Ineos interested in shirt sales, no difference to the Glazer. Absolutely, Brian. That's why they're not signing players that are relatively unknown, is it? Absolutely. I didn't like Carrick when we signed him. Loved him eventually. Exactly, Randy. Exactly. I didn't like Dwight York. I thought Dwight York was an average striker. Proved me wrong, didn't he? Proved me wrong. And so did Carrick at that time. Very young, though, I was. Very young. Big up, Pearl. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Big up everyone in the house. Big up Ebbs. What's going on? You lots are broke. Are we, mate? Okay, mate. Who do you support, mate? Hearts of Oak. Natty, Sal, I am confused of why Mbeumo didn't get a chance when your carers get a chance when he did not fit. I'm accused Mbeumo did not get a chance when your carers get a chance when he did not fit. I don't get that, mate. I don't get that. Sorry, mate. Rephrase that, brother. Rephrase that. I agree with that, Kenny. It'd be great if you get a Premier League loan, but a Championship loan would do him good. He's a little bit Bambi on ice at the moment, in my opinion. A little bit of a Bambi on ice, guys. Absolutely. Big up everyone who's joined me today. Clarence, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Our current striker should stay and fight to prove himself. Calls for me, it would be a bad season last year. All right, good point. Clarence, that is a good point, of course. Guys. Big up Obo, how you doing, my friend? The language of English Premier League proven players should completely cease. We've signed too many of them and end up failures. And over this last 5 years, which proven English players have Man United signed? Casemiro was not an English player. Bruno's not an English player. Wasn't proven. Ahmad was not an English player. Was not proven English. Højlund was not an English player. Not proven English. You can't paint that with the same brush. English football, you do need an element. You do need the spine of it. Ask Real Madrid, ask Barcelona, ask them type of teams, ask PSG, for example. You do need an element of English in there, I think, like a Wharton and that, but it's not absolute in regards to you should have that. You buy players based on talent. And Adam Wharton would do well because he is English and he is Premier League proven. And that, you can argue that point all you way want, but England is a different country. I'm from England. England's from a different country from other countries. You know what I mean? If I was to go to, for example, Spain, a Spanish player would know more about Spanish culture, more than Spain than me. There are absolute talented players out there that can do the business, but it's not absolute, as I said. It's not, oh, we shouldn't sign English players. That should cease. No, we sign players that are good enough. That's it. Adam Wharton is good enough for Manchester United. It'll be fantastic at Man United. Like Michael Carrick was, a game changer. Big up, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're blessed, of course. Guys, big up Spirit. Hope you're doing well. Big up everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Absolute legends. Marky Mark, I completely agree. Casemiro was done a couple of years ago. Probably would have been better. I mean, yeah, probably it'd be more mobile than him, of course. Absolutely, guys. Mark, interesting one. Ahmad has scored 2 goals in 3 preseason outings. Get 1 given offside or so he is not doing bad. It's a preseason, Mark. It's a preseason. As a right wing back, when you play competitively against proper football teams, right? As I explained, Mark, don't nick and pick what I say, right? As I explained, Ahmad will be good against the likes of Leeds United, the likes of Bournemouth, the likes of these sort of teams. Watch when he play Liverpool and Arsenal and teams like that, if you play Ahmed on that side. Absolutely. In a competitive game. Mark, agreed. Not sure why anyone could, downplay ability to adapt. He has been our most overall impact player. No, he hasn't. He hasn't been our overall impact player. Absolutely not. He has not. He has been he has been inconsistent. He has not. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. I think our defenders have been people call him world class already. Absolutely not. Tyborg. I think we'll buy a strike. This is what I'm talking about. There's an element of player FC here. I don't downplay Ahmed, and anyone who thinks I downplay Ahmed could fuck off, because I don't at the end of the day. But what I would say is that I give criticism based on facts, based on what I see. He's not a wing back. He's never been a wing back. He's not a wing back, and we will be exposed next season. That's what I say. I think we'll need to buy a striker, and we'll be fit for this window. The keeper and midfielder will only happen in the next summer. Eventually, this window. Could be Tyborg. Big up Tyborg. Hope you're doing well. Big up Tammy. How you doing, my friend? I hate how everyone is underrating Kobe and Ugarte. Absolutely, mate. Forget Kobe is one of the reasons we won our first FA Cup. Thank you, Toby. Thank you for saying that. People forgetting that. People are very short-minded. They think it's a new toy syndrome, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a new toy syndrome, guys. Absolutely, the new toy syndrome. UK Darren, Ahmed was poor for much of last season. If I speak, I'll be in trouble. Absolutely, guys. If I speak, I'll be in trouble. Good morning, Ellen. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Absolutely, we're not broke. Absolutely not. Big up, Dylan. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Of course. I think that means Gyökeres has played for Arsenal, and then Mbeumo was not on the bench for Man United. I think means Gyökeres has played for Arsenal, and Mbeumo was not on the bench for Man United. It's a confusing one, mate. Goodness me. Oh, I think it means Gyökeres has played for Arsenal, and Mbeumo was not on the bench for Man United. Oh, I get you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get you. I got it in the end. Jamie, good morning. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Haaland came from the Bundesliga. What the fuck? Exactly. Exactly. At the moment. Big up, Dabizas. Hope you're doing well. Ballack is not a striker. Ballack? No, he's not. He was a midfielder, mate. Who's talking about Ballack? Ballack was a midfielder, played for Bayern Munich, one of the generational midfielders, mate. Brian, there's plenty of strikers come from Germany. Klinsmann back then. Yeah, absolutely. Klinsmann, yeah, he's one. That's true. Absolutely. You can't paint everyone with the same brush, guys. You can't paint everyone the same. Here we go. This is important because Tyborg actually watches the Bundesliga properly, and I want to say this. Walter has one good season, and it would be a huge risk to bring him in. Some other teams can afford that flops because they are already a good team and have positions covered. We can't afford the mistakes. One thing I will say, Tyborg, about this, if Man United don't manage to get Sesko, if we don't manage to get Sesko, would you go after Walter Murder? Would you go after Walter if we don't get Sesko? I know there's many other strikers out there that Man United could possibly get, but if he was the only option, for argument's sake, would you be happy? But fair point. Big up Tyborg, legend. Um, I hate how everyone. Yeah, I read that one. Big up everyone, of course. Big up everyone in the stream. Absolutely. Big up Bornvex. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Top the appreciation button, like people. Thank you so much, Bornvex. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, my guy. Of course. We're not broke. We're just arse owner. Absolutely. We're not broke. We're just stingy. There's a completely different thing in regards to that, isn't there? At the end of the day. Romo, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Mateta also came for the Bundesliga. Another one bites the dust. Romo, there you go. Absolutely. Many did. Remember, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. Now. He's not the finished product. Exactly. He's not. And he's not, anyone who thinks he is. He's not the finished product, but he's also not world class yet. And he's not a right wing back. Absolutely not. Thank you so much, my guy, Tony Jambat. What's going on? Thank you for your generosity, mate. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate that. And you're welcome, mate. Feel free. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to join the stream every single day. Very important. Very important. Well, at the end of the day, what we do on this channel, we have opinions that are real. The realist opinions, of course, guys. Big up, Tony. You absolute legend, of course. Guys, absolutely. Guys. Yeah, absolutely. 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 We do need a right wing back. I agree. We need a right wing back, someone who can play defensively when we need to play defensively and attacking when we need to play attacking. I get that. I get that. Thank you so much, Tony. Absolute legend. Absolutely. Yeah, we do. We do need a right wing back. People understand football. We do need the right wing back because putting Ahmad as a right wing back takes away his game, in my opinion. He's a right winger, not a wing back. And you'll see him. You've never seen him make a tackle. And that's it. It's not just about attacking. If you understand, it's not just about attacking. It's about tackling as well when you're a right wing back. You have to track back. You have to. I would love to see him given the opportunity to be more attacking. But unfortunately, he has to play that formation in the right wing back position, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. We do. Thank you so much. Great comments, guys. Absolutely. Really appreciate that. Guys, look, football, every single game is different. You have to understand that, guys, and you have to do that, of course. But what I would say is that one-off games, one-off moments in football doesn't define you. It doesn't define you who you are. At the end of the day, there are players that have moments. I can name a number of players. I could say that obviously Phil Jones had moments. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Harry Maguire has moments. Harry Maguire got us through against Lyon. Should he be our striker? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Guys, I don't overhype any of these players. I think there's a lot of people who are player FC. I don't hype any of these players. None of them. And because every single player, to a man, last season were part of the worst Man United team in history. So they've got to prove me wrong. I don't have any affiliation with any players. Right? All I look at is the facts. Look at the facts. And that's what you should do. Look at the numbers. Look at the assists. All right, look at that. Look at the numbers. Look at the position we finished. Big up Natty. Thank you so much for joining me, of course, all day long. Brian, seeing that rat Steve Nico on ESPN FC is shit. It's hard on United, saying Sesko is doomed if the United sign. Guys, blah, blah, blah. Let's be honest, Mark. The bar is not. The bar is not high. Let's say that. About a team after the last matches. I love how we play and how energetic we look. Ellen, I agree with that. I think Man United are looking far more better, but that is what you get, isn't it, with a pre-season? When you've got a pre-season, this is what you get. And what I say about Ahmad, as I have always said, inshallah, support the player. Hopefully he comes good. Hopefully he reaches potential. Hopefully he's good. I think he's a little bit lightweight at the moment. He's a little bit weak. But hopefully he comes good and he will become a world-class player, which he isn't at the moment. I hope he does become a world-class player. And for Man United's sake, not because I love the player or I'm a player FC, for Manchester United player's sake, I really do hope that he becomes a fantastic player, guys. At the moment, Ahmed is not, but he's better. He is better than Dalot. I give you that, Tammy. Absolutely. Ahmed, but the problem is, Tammy, we're not going after a right wing back. This is the question, isn't it, Tammy? We're not going after a right wing back. Dalot needs to be sold, and I'll say it. I'm not flip-flopping on that. Dalot needs to be sold. This is why I said that Man United needed a Frimpong or a Wesley or a Vanderson, players of that ilk. That's why Man United needed these players, because, you know what I mean, guys. Sal, who you have in the right wing back? None of them. I would still play. I'm telling you, I would still play Ahmed as a right wing back. I said Man United need to sign a right wing back. Absolutely. Ellen, what I would say to you is this question. Doesn't Diego Leon and Dorgu look fantastic? Both of these players look absolutely brilliant. What are we going to do? We got Amas, we got Luke Shaw, we got Malacia. These players need to leave. These players need to leave, and we need to have Diego Leon and Dorgu as our proper left wing backs, guys. That is a left wing back. Dorgu is a left wing back. Proper left wing back. Proper one. Can track back, can tackle, can go forward, can cross, can track back. Not run, cut in, run, cut in, run, cut in. Proper player, guys. Absolutely. I really hope that he reaches potential, because I think that he is a proper player. And Diego Leon, by the way, if those of you saw the little cameo with Diego Leon, I thought he was really good as well. Absolutely. Brian, if we can carry on performances on the season, we'll do okay. 1 game a week. Hope so, mate. I hope so. I really hope so. There's no excuses. One thing I would say, Brian, to conclude, there is no excuses for Manchester United next season. There's no excuses in regards to that. Absolutely not, guys. But guys, it's not about, football. I've watched football for nearly 40 years, guys. So I've been a Man United fan for nearly 40 years. So I actually feel like I have a legitimate opinion about things, right? Humbly. And I look at players and I analyze players, right? And I criticize them and I praise them. There are some people who don't criticize because they love the player. They don't want to say anything bad about a player. No one's saying that a certain player is not the finished product. No one is saying that. Absolutely. You know what I mean? No one is saying that. People are saying that they're not quite there yet. They're not a right wing back, or they're not a left wing back, or they're not a striker yet. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Writing this tweet. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Leon's a great player in the making. Absolutely is. UK Rap, big up UK Rap. Thank you so much. That's proper knowledge. Thank you, mate. At the end of the day, I deal with things like, you know what I mean? I don't hate any player either. And that is one thing about it. I just go by what this team did last season. I don't give a damn what your name is. You know what I mean? What you look like, what your name is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I go by how we're playing as a team. Euro is a generational, Ellen. I think that Man United have 3 of the most fantastic defenders in the world, young defenders in the world. Lenny Yoro, Aiden Heaven, and Patrick Dorgu are 3 of the best up-and-coming players in world football in regards to defending. In my opinion, guys. That is what I'm saying. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to put too much pressure on them. In my opinion, Lenny Yoro, Aiden Heaven, and Patrick Dorgu are going to be our defenders for the next 10 years. I've got a feeling. Hopefully Leon comes in there and stuff like that. Absolutely, guys. Sal, we can play Dorgu in the right and play left. That's a good point. I just don't like the inadverted thing. I'm not a fan of that. At the end of the day, guys, Dorgu played that way and on the left. Yeah. Ashley Young wasn't a defender, and neither was Valencia at first, though. Dorgu could play on the right and Leon on the left. But the one thing about Ashley Young, he was very defensively astute. He could defend. He could head. He could tackle. He could do things like that. And if you learn about Ashley Young from his young days, he did play right wing back, left wing back. Guys, absolutely. And so did Valencia in his time in Ecuador. If Dorgu could play on the right and Leon on the left, I would like that, to be honest. I would like that. Euro, my son, big up Ellen, big up all day. I think our defense is good if they have protection from the midfield. I agree. It is a collective. As I said, Man United have a bunch of individuals, and it is a collection, guys. Guys, absolutely. You know what I would say, Coco? As I've always said with every single player who's ever worn that shirt at Man United, God willing, he becomes the world-class player that and you know what? I put expectations on players I believe in, by the way. Yeah? I put expectations on players I believe in because I've seen great Man United players of the past. You know what I mean? Guys, and to be honest with you, one thing I would say as a collective, and I'm not going to flip-flop from this, Coco, is that we've got a pre-season. You know, we got a pre-season. Euro looking good and the bigger this season. Absolutely, he looks massive, doesn't he, Mark? He looks huge. Absolutely. Randy, I mean, yeah, that is a big issue as well. You know what I mean? This is why he cuts in. This is what I'm talking about. The inadverted winger. Guys, thank you for joining me today. Absolute legends. Thank you. It's been a great chat, guys. Really appreciate everyone who's coming on today, everyone who supports our team, guys. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to put your notifications on. Please don't forget to smash a like, guys, as well. We need to get those likes up, guys. Really appreciate it. Big up, Coco. Much love to you, brother. Great conversations, of course, guys. No, as I said, and I always end the end of the show. You know what? I'm excited. I shouldn't be excited, but I'm excited about the way Man United are doing things. I'm excited about Ruben Amorim. I think Ruben Amorim will get it right. I really do feel that. I have a better feeling today than I ever have done. Big up, Brian. Big up, Brian. Big up, Ranny. Yeah, I went over today. I thought I would. I love the conversations, guys. I love you guys. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner, and I shall see you for Chatterbox. Is it Chatterbox? Yeah, it is Chatterbox. Take it easy, guys. And Tammy said we're winning the league. There we go, guys. Thank you so much. There we go. We're getting giddy already. I think it's only going to take a couple of games, and we're gonna change our opinion probably, Tammy. But big up, Tammy. I hope you're doing well. Big up, everyone. Great football intelligence. Great intelligence. Take it easy, guys. And I shall see you later on for Chatterbox. Peace.